Hello there folks, and welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be delving into something a little bit special. Um, it is the era of a new edition of Warhammer 40,000, and with that the folks at Games Workshop are returning to Armageddon. um, Now, what's quite awesome about this, and it's something that I think it would be really fun for you folks to dive into the comments and tell me about as well, is weirdly enough, Armageddon was where I first started with Warhammer as a concept. Before this, I'd seen tanks in the windows of my local Games Workshop in Merry Hill in Dudley, but it all really started when I got this issue of White Dwarf magazine, and as you can see, I have loved this issue fairly hard over the years. What was fascinating is I got this White Dwarf, or my parents bought me this White Dwarf, I think it was, or maybe I bought it with some pocket money or something like that. I think maybe at the time. When was this from? Oh God, I can't remember. What was this issue? Does it say on the side? Uh, it just says White Dwarf 240 or something, I think. White Dwarf 248. And I had this issue of Warhammer of White Dwarf, and I basically spent an entire holiday just reading this over and over and over and over again. This was like the golden era of White Dwarf for me. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Well, what was your first White Dwarf? Obviously, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and do all of that other good stuff as part of the channel. Become a member and watch my hobby vlogs earlier, and use my affiliate links down below to help me out as well. But yeah, I remember getting this, and there was just something intensely awesome about what was inside its pages. And because I couldn't, because I could never actually afford to actually buy Warhammer at this point, I think I would maybe bought like some Black Templars as soon as I finished with this, because I'd seen them in this White Dwarf. It was just brilliant to sort of see everything and see the battles play out and all that kind of thing as well. This was also the time when they were doing the big Armageddon campaign. I remember this as well. I didn't read Blood Quest for maybe a couple more years at this point, but they were going to make a Blood Quest film. They were going to make a movie about Blood Quest, which would have been freaking awesome. I love Blood Quest. It's so good. And I think they should bring it back. They should do more of it. That'd be really fun. But this when they're doing the big Armageddon campaign that you could dive into. And this was the birth of, yes, this was the starter set that I bought. I bought this starter set, or at least was it? Or did they just get the? I think my friend had this. My friend Tom had this, and then this was. I bought a tactical squad and painted them as Black Templars to use when playing 40k. But this was where back when you had the cool Crimson Fist. Space Marine Codex. I remember getting Codex Armageddon as well because it was super cool. There's got the separate supplements as well that came alongside it. This was when my brother had the Orcs Codex because he really wanted to collect Orcs, and I bought the Eldar one and the Craftful one because I've been told that they were super cool at the same time as well. So I bought a lot of the books. I mean, they were fairly cheap back then, obviously. In the grand scheme of things, obviously things have got more expensive, but you know. I remember looking at these and thinking they were absolutely brilliant. And they were so full of cool stuff. And then there was this whole breakdown of Armageddon. I remember looking at this piece of artwork for ages. I used to just pore over the Games Workshop art and find all the cool things that I could about it. Like, I loved the Steel Legion there. And that massive orc was always so badass to me. Just firing that massive shooter. Probably a knob, I guess you'd say nowadays. But yeah, he was super cool. And I remember reading through all of this and learning all of the information about the different war zones for Armageddon. and seeing all the battles being played out and what people were bringing to the tabletop and how cool it all was. And then you had the Stormtroopers done as Steel Legion there as well. I remember that being super cool and learning all about the history of it. This is when you got these really nice little black and white vignettes in the codexes as well. There were these really cool little snapshots of the different factions. So this is obviously the orcs over this side with the speed freaks, and then you've got the salamanders, the Steel Legion, and the Black Templars over the other side, which is super awesome. I remember really looking at this stuff as well, and I think it was, I really wanted that, but I think it was, it was £100, so that was obviously quite a lot of money, and I think I'd gone down the route of Space Marines by that point, so I never actually ended up picking that up. But I think my brother got one of the blister packs of just some of the troops, I think it was, and painted up a few of them. There was also Gazgul's Horde as well there, which was full of boys and bikes and all that kind of thing there, which was super cool. I remember, these were so nice. This was like the first version of Gaz that I ever saw, because obviously I'd never seen the previous versions of him from sort of like the 80s and 90s. And that take on Gazgul, but this was the version that I'd seen, and I thought he was super badass. And he was so big, even, I mean, now he's massive, obviously, but that was such a cool model with the big power claw, and it worked really nicely with the artwork and the design as well. And you got the breakdown of who Commissar Yarrick was and who Gazgul was, and how that all fitted back into the whole scheme of things. And a bit of a breakdown of sort of like their rules. So you got their rules in there, which was super nice. So how to use him alongside the Steel Legion. And then a breakdown of the Index Astartes for the Salamanders. I don't remember ever really being taken by the Salamanders as a force. I think I sort of thought they were cool, but I thought that artwork was amazing. I loved that. But I never really played them or had any sort of like inkling to play them. I think my friend did. My friend Jack played the Salamanders quite a lot. There's also this thing about the Speed Freaks as well. So that was a breakdown of the Speed Freak army and how that fit into everything in the game. Grand Warlord Adrian Wood has used bits from all manner of plastic kits to convert his orc bikes. And you've got this scratch-built battle wagon, the stretched orc truck as well. And I just remember pouring, because it had all these little breakout bits of lore, which I think you got in some of the other bits as well. And you just read about them, and you get like a little bit of a insight into how they worked and where they fit into the wider lore of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40,000. And you can see I've loved this a lot. Everything's all ruined. At the same time, back when Warhammer World was still a thing. Well, I mean, it was like an early thing. I don't even remember what it looked like back at that point. It's really cool. Never obviously went there. Bit of Warhammer in there too. I remember not being massively taken by Warhammer at this point. I don't think it was. I don't think I really got into Warhammer until much later on. Bit of a breakdown on the Steel Legion from Jervis Johnson as well, and how they work. Really cool art. That artwork as well, with the guy with the scared face through the lenses as he's fighting his foes. I thought that was really cool. This was a man. I read the heck out of this this White Dwarf. I did actually buy this box set. I did actually buy this box set and got it in the end. I really loved that take on orcs as well. I thought it was really cool because it was kind of reminded me of Warhammer, Warcraft at the time. And this was when orcs had black blood, as you can see there. And they were called Space Orcs. That was the Battle Force. How cool was that? I loved that Battle Force. I love those Battle Force boxes with the art on the front. I wish I'd kept my Battle Force boxes with the cool art on them. They were so badass. All the Games Workshop action in every store. That was mine, Dudley. There we go. Did they ever have one in Stafford? No, they never had one in Stafford. They got one in Stoke-on-Trent, though. I think it's still there. Huh. Very cool. Skulls program. Does anyone remember the Skulls program? I actually did that, and I managed to get Codex Assassins out of it, I think. I mean, look at these Tyranids. How weird are those? That's the classic Tyranids from back in the day. Amazing stuff. A bit more on the third dwarf on it. The Land Raider Crusader. God, I think that was the thing that got me wanting to play Black Templars, you know. There's a really cool piece of artwork for the Land Raider Crusader where it's like, I think it's that one but bigger, where it's coming over the top of a rise and just murdering everything with its bolters. Because it had, was it the Hurricane Bolters or whatever they're called? Hurricane Bolters, yes. Just mowing down everything in its path. I thought that was so cool. And that was when bolt guns were like the thing. I loved bolt guns. And the classic vehicles as well. Never really got on with the land speeders. Was never really a fan of land speeders. But I really liked the Rhinos. And the Predator was really cool because it was like a classic tank. I loved that. I didn't even remember that the Razorback had that hull bit on the top. That's quite cool. Really nice stuff. Warhammer bargains. Bargains? There were sales? Oh my god, I forgot about that. The classic Warhammer website as well. God, I remember going through that. Those old Necrons, I think I had those. Oh my god. I had that set that came free on a White Dwarf, where you got a Necron Warrior or something. I got it from somewhere, and then I bought the other miniatures for that as well. It's amazing how much you remember. Did you ever wonder how we design and make our great miniatures? Well, that's what they thought. Let us show you the single. They showed off how they made their models. How awesome was that back in the day? I remember this being really cool. The Arena of Death, which obviously they've done nowadays. They got it on Warhammer TV. This was a fight between Yarick and Ghazghkull, which was really badass. And they showed off different ways of them fighting each other and that kind of thing. Was this when we got into the act? Oh my god, yes. This battle report was how I wrote all my battle reports for my friends, where it was narrative but also with a little twist of some sort of gameplay in it as well. And what was really cool was that this White Dwarf had the battle going on here, which was in the tank factory, where there's a really but it also had these three going on at the same time. This one was super cool because these big guns on the top were being attacked by the orcs, but these guns could fire onto this table, or this table, I think it was, which was really cool. But yeah, in each Imperial shooting phase, the surviving Earthshakers must fire at the main table, guessing the range as normal. I loved that. Was so fun. And there was a Space Hulk fight between the Black Templars and the orcs there. And then the White Scars were engaging the Speed Freaks at the same time. This was so cool. I remember reading through it, because you had the big armies for either side. You had the Blood Angels there, alongside the Salamanders. There's a bit where the chaplain is just chopping his way through enemies, which was badass. Yeah, I think this is what sold me on the Black Templars. How badass was this, man? It was so good. And then you had the full battle report itself, and it was all done in this kind of narrative sense, which I thought was really cool. There was this bit, yeah, where they were fighting on the Hulk. Where's the bit that I really loved? Yes, the Death Company attacking the orcs on the top of the ruins, which was really badass. And you had a little bit of a story about how that happened. And then there was another this bit, oh my god, where the Salamanders are just sending multi-melters and flamers and all sorts of different things, purifying flames down on the orcs in the bottom of the warehouse there. I thought it was super badass. Yeah, that's where the Death Company chaplain fights to the end against all the orcs and the knobs and things. And it was just so good. And the worst thing was, I never bought the next issue. I don't know why. I never got the next issue of this, so I never found out what happened in this massive battle. I'm sure I could find it online somewhere. I bet they've put it on Warhammer Vault or something like that. But I never found out what happened at the end of this super badass battle. So if anybody does know, please tell me, because it would be super cool to learn all about it. And of course all the mail order stuff as well. Bring back the Catachans, please. I've still got that Yarick somewhere as well. Maybe I'll paint him up soon. But yeah, man, what a White Dwarf. I absolutely loved this. It was so good. And as you can see, I read it to death. And I did get that Space Marine Battle Force as well, I think, later on. But I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this White Dwarf. And I read it endlessly back and forth. And so I'd like to know what your first White Dwarf was. Please dive down to the comments and tell me which was your first issue that you picked up. And what was it about that issue that sparked a love of Warhammer and everything about it as well. I'm going to move on. I might actually just go and sit down and read this myself now. Read through it again one more time. But yeah, please let me know in the comments down below what you think and what was your favourite White Dwarf. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I'll be back with more videos very, very soon. Oh, man. Maybe I'll see if I can find the other issue of this on eBay. I'll leave that to me. Bye for now.